It's time. It's the Super Bowl preview. We're going to spend an hour on the Sprint Right Option podcast answering the most important question, Jason. Is Sunday a must win or a can't lose? New Sprint Right Option podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Right Option podcast. Oh my goodness, we are live. I apologize. I had about 18 things in my ears there. It took me a second to figure out which tab I was supposed to be on, but we are ready. It is a new Sprint Right Option podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by Jason Aponte. It's 5:15 Andrew time. Also 5:15 Jason time, as he is in the great state of California. Jason, how you doing today?
Man, when you said breaking down the important stuff, I thought we were going to have a lengthy debate over Usher's set list.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is he opening with you? Yeah, that's one of his songs. Yeah.
That's not the song I want to hear. I don't want to hear that song.
What's your favorite song?
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear "Oh My God." I don't want to hear any of those songs. My favorite Usher songs are the deep cuts on his albums. Superstar, Caught Up, Throwback. I was listening to Lifetime on the plane today. Like, all my favorite Usher songs are not the ones that everyone loves.
I actually remembered. Do you remember how last week we were talking Usher? I remembered another song that I legally had to forget. He had a song called "Same Girl" with R. Kelly. I remember that one.
Whoa!
I don't think he's playing. I don't think he's doing that song on Sunday.
Not the R word.
Not the R word. Not R. Kelly. We can't say it. No, but Jason, hey man, it's gonna be a fun. I am elated. Is that the right word? Of just
the great word.
I don't think it's the right word in that context, but it's Super Bowl weekend. It's time. I'm all over the place. I'm a little all over the place. Andrew, what the hell? Hey, man, I just thought of it. I remember that song was a banger when I was younger, and then I kind of found out who R. Kelly was. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't like that song.
Can I just say, last episode, you dropped something that I never would have thought. Like, you shocked the hell out of me. You said something on the show. I don't want to repeat it. Anybody who saw the show or whatever, yeah.
Was it about the sweets?
Yeah.
Okay,
but you didn't use that word. You used another word, and that
there's multiple words for sweets.
And this episode, if you would have told me that we'd be 3 minutes in and we haven't talked one thing 49ers Chiefs, but we were going to get an Andrew Pasquini, Usher, R. Kelly reference on this show, this is how you know we're locked in. We are dialed in. I
believe I can fly. Isn't that another one? That's the Space Jams. It's Space Jams. Hey man, you want to talk about the real big football news that happened today? Kyle Posey at KP_show had a tweet. Jimmy G score prediction for the Super Bowl 35-31 Chiefs. Here's a question. If you go back in time and have Jimmy Garoppolo predict the Super Bowl final score for the 2019 Super Bowl, do you think he predicts a score as high? Does he think the 49ers are scoring 31 points with him at quarterback?
Probably not.
I saw that. I'm like, man, do you think Jimmy G knows the 49ers can score 31 points?
Now he does, I guess. It's all right. So obviously you see something like that and you're just like, shit, Jimmy, why, man? Like, and it's funny, man, because, as much as he might have felt slighted with however things like shook out, my God, was there a section of this fan base that would absolutely kill each other over him and kill other people?
They still might.
Yeah, like, and to do that and just say that, it's giving jealous. It's giving, like, like when you break up with your ex and you say, I want you to be happy, and you actually don't mean it. Like, that's what Jimmy is doing right now. He's the ex that like says, I hope you find love somewhere else, but secretly, I don't want you to find love at all. I actually want you to be miserable. So like, Jimmy, it's giving jilted lover. It's giving slighted lover a little bit.
I'm taking it the other way. It's a man who wants to leave Las Vegas, and he's like, well, how do I get Raider fans to hate me more? I'll pick the division rival. I know he's getting cut, but now maybe he's more so trying to get cut from the Raiders.
Pasquini, he's going to stay in that division. He's going to be Denver's quarterback next year.
Oh, he's going to don't say that. My pipe dream is Jameis. Well, My pipe dream is Jameis backup Purdy next year, but like the second one, Jameis in Denver with Sean Payton, where remember the year he started with like 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions under
Yeah.
Sean Payton?
Yeah.
Jameis in Denver, Broncos country, let's ride. We could be there.
Peyton loves him some Jimmy Garoppolo, and he can be a bridge for whoever they draft and everything, because they're definitely going to get rid of Russ now. But
Jimmy Garoppolo just being a bridge to whoever the next
everybody
is that his
like,
is that his
career
role
arc
from now on? That's it. That's it. He's just the bridge guy.
He's going to be the guy that will up the seat for someone else.
I love it. Yeah, he picked the Chiefs. That's all I got. That's all I have on Jimmy Garoppolo. I didn't expect
31 it's a 6 score because the Chiefs have scored 30 points like twice this year.
Yeah, it hasn't happened a ton. And actually, I was going to talk about points per game and all that stuff. Do we want to get into it, Jason? Do we want to start talking
about football?
Super Bowl 58, the San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. We've been here before. A second year. For the second time, actually, a second-year starter is looking for his team's first championship in multiple decades. Patrick Mahomes doing that back in 2019, getting the Chiefs their first Super Bowl since, 1969, whatever it was before that. Brock Purdy looking to do the same, second year as the 49ers starter, looking to end, what is it now, 30 – God, it's almost 40 years now, 38 years since the last Super Bowl? No, 95. I'm way off, 28 years since the 49ers last Super Bowl. Jason, I want to start with where we ended on Wednesday's episode, asking how you feel about the game, where you're at mentally, where you're at with everything. We're a little bit closer. We're now, dare I say, it's now post 5 p.m. on the West Coast. Jason, you would know that 5 p.m. It's now Super Bowl weekend. It's officially Super Bowl weekend. How's Jason Aponte feeling?
I think the more and more that I dig into the numbers and I think about the matchups and I think about all the ways that this game can go in terms of scenarios, I find myself feeling better.
Yeah.
I did the No Huddle podcast with our good friend Brian Rennick and Al Sacco. Shout out to those guys on 49ers Web Zone.
Nope.
And listening to some of the numbers that I was throwing out there, with my own research and everything that was kind of being said, I kind of walked away a little bit more confident. And the reason that everybody is picking Kansas City, even though they know for a fact that the 49ers have the better roster top to bottom, is because of Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's literally just Patrick Mahomes, because you don't bet against him, and only 2 quarterbacks have ever beaten him, and that's Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. And Brock Purdy has the chance to do the funniest thing on Sunday. The funniest thing in the world is upstage Usher and take him out as well. But the numbers against them defending the run from under center, the numbers of 21 personnel and everything that they match up poorly against, the more and more that I dig into this, the more and more that I talk and I listen and I'm looking around, I feel more and more confident going into the game. I mean, obviously anxiety spikes on Sunday. But right now I feel good. I feel great. And it's not just the wine. I feel great.
You mentioned real quick, just kind of a fun fact about this game. You mentioned the last 2 quarterbacks to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. The only 2, not even the last 2, the only 2.
Yes.
Not the only 2, because he lost in his first year, and I forget to who that. That was Tom Brady again. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Tom Brady,
but Tom Brady, Joe Burrow. Who was the backup quarterback to Tom Brady in that Super Bowl? Blaine Gabbert. He's the backup in Kansas City. Who was the backup for the Bengals when they beat the Chiefs? Brandon Allen, the 3rd-string quarterback for the 49ers. So a little bit of backup quarterback. That has nothing to do with Sunday, just kind of interesting connecting the dots. But Jason, I had more or less the same thing. The more I looked, because I've done it. I've done it every postseason game, Jason. I have said every time we've picked an AFC game this playoffs is, yeah, I think the Ravens are better than the Chiefs. Yeah, I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes, right? Feels pretty simple. But then you dive into the numbers a lot. This is a defensive first team, isn't it? I think the media, not the media, but I think we've come so accustomed to who Patrick Mahomes is and what the Chiefs offense is. And we think of weapons, and really what it is now is it's pretty much the opposite. I wrote in NinersNation.com the other day. This used to be a Chiefs team that would have to outscore its defense because the defense would give up a lot of points. But now it's almost like you hope the Chiefs don't give up enough points because the Chiefs don't score a lot anymore. And we will 1,000% get into that a little deeper. But it's just this Chiefs team feels different than previous years. But the one same thing between it is Mahomes and Kelsey. And it's really hard to say against the Chiefs team with Mahomes and Kelsey, like, oh yeah, Niners are going to win this game easily because those two are there. But I don't want to say the Niners are going to win easily, but it's just I don't think it's as close as one would think it is. Looking into these two teams, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to say the Chiefs aren't a great team because they're a very good team. They're maybe the second best team in the NFL. Maybe depends on what you want to say. I still firmly believe the Niners are the best team in the NFL, but it's so hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce because we've seen just how good they can be for 5-6 years now.
Oh, those tables when they turn. So the Kansas City Chiefs were a one play away every single time explosive offense.
Yeah.
And the defense would do just enough, but they would have to outscore everybody. 2019, the 49ers offense was, efficient, but the defense was ahead.
Yep.
Now the 49ers are explosive, one play away almost every single time. And the defense is a little behind. And every time that somebody says that Brock Purdy is dink and dunk, I implore you to watch the Kansas City Chiefs because nobody dinks and dunks like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's every single thing that they think Brock Purdy is, Patrick Mahomes has been this season. Dink and dunk. And they will dink and dunk you to death to get to the 20. So they get to the 20 and then they can play backyard football when, Kelsey just runs around, doesn't do anything, like doesn't run the route that he's supposed to, does whatever he wants, and then, and Mahomes makes a play.
Yep.
But their defense is ahead of their offense.
Yep.
You know what, though? I will say this. It is indicative of the fact of two things. One, Andy Reid's a hell of a coach.
Yep.
Two, when you have Patrick Mahomes, he can mask things, right? Offensively, defensively. And you are watching something very special because they're doing it in different ways. They're doing it in different ways, right? There was a time when Tom Brady's dynasty started that he was the game manager. He was the guy who just had to make enough throws, right? And then he transitioned into we're airing this shit out and we're gonna go crazy, right? For Mahomes to be able to do that early in his career and then turn into this, and then they find a way to get back into the bowl again, it's pretty impressive. Now, having said that, this is why I'm picking the 49ers to win. I mean, obviously, 19 games, we picked the 49ers in all of them, but styles make fights. And the 49ers their matchups are perfect, right? In terms of what they do well. The Chiefs can't defend zone runs. Hello, zone runs outside. By the way, give Christian McCaffrey the fucking ball till he pukes. 25, 30 touches. I am demanding. And you, in that way, Kyle Shanahan's got to kind of pivot away from what he's been doing all season with the offense because they were so explosive. And they've got to kind of turn back into that ball control, let's kill the clock, like they were under Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's what's funny about it is not everything is, again, like personnel is going to dictate how you go into a game plan, right? I think Kyle felt against Detroit and Green Bay, hey, I'm going to be able to do whatever I want against this defense, right? But when you're facing somebody like Patrick Mahomes, you don't want to give him a chance with the ball at the end of the game. So you have to keep the ball out of his hands, shorten the game, run the shit out of the football. I don't care what anybody says. Christian McCaffrey needs to touch this ball 30, 35 times. That's it, easily. Like, that's it. Done. Yes. Don't even mess around. It doesn't have to be hard. But you would only do that in a Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs because it is Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, you mentioned Christian McCaffrey, and I don't really like to use games that don't involve the Niners to talk about games that involve the Niners, if that makes sense. But I felt a big reason the Baltimore Ravens aren't in the Super Bowl is they're one of the best run teams in the NFL, right? Like they've been the best. They had a streak of 100 or more rushing yards in every game since week 1 of last season. Do you know when that was broken, Jason? It was broken against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and it's not because the Chiefs like stopped them. Baltimore was averaging 5.1 yards per attempt. That's better than their season average. They ran the ball 16 times. You know the last time the Baltimore Ravens ran the ball fewer than 16 times? Week 16 of 2021. It's a run first team, and it's not one of these situations because you know what game the Niners ran the ball the least this season? It was against Baltimore. Do you know why they ran the ball? Because the entire fourth quarter they were behind 3 scores, couldn't run the ball, had to pass it. Baltimore was never in a situation where it's like, oh, we need to abandon the run. They were only down 10 points the entire time. So what happened, Jason Aponte, when the Ravens didn't run the ball? The Chiefs ran 16 more plays, and they had the ball for 15 more minutes. What's the Chiefs' records this season when they win the time of possession battle? 8-2. Wow. Now, look at the 49ers. What's the 49ers record when they win the time of possession battle? 7-0. Do you want to know what you want to know what the combined final score of the 7 games the Niners won the time of possession battle in? 221-98.
Wow. That's so real.
And so it's Jason, as simple as it sounds, run the ball with Christian McCaffrey. It's pretty damn easy. You have the best running back in the league. You also have this quarterback who can kind of scramble maybe now, Brock Purdy. Maybe let him utilize not designed runs. Please, don't run him up the middle. We don't want to have that conversation again, right, Jason Aponte? But, it's something where he needs to move around and run. But just don't it feels mind-numbingly simple, Jason, that we're saying it on the podcast. But just run the ball a lot with Christian McCaffrey and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. And I feel pretty good about winning the Super Bowl on Sunday. It shouldn't feel that simple, but it almost feels that simple.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I was watching that game on the plane before I passed out. God, man, a 6-hour flight and you're just stuck in an aisle seat, man. It's just, I woke up I felt like I couldn't even feel my legs. But this is what's going to be interesting. Spagnuolo loaded the box and sold out to stop the run. And Todd Monken and the Ravens said, oh shit, we can't run it. And it's like, that's something that's going to happen on Sunday. And the great discussion about the 2019 Super Bowl and Kyle stopped running it. Kyle didn't stop running it. Jimmy Garoppolo checked out of those runs because of loaded boxes with Steve Spagnuolo. Jimmy Garoppolo looked at the box and said, uh-oh, I don't like this look. Let's check out of it. And then incomplete pass to Kendrick Bourne, incomplete pass to George Kittle, right? That's going to be the part because Steve Spagnuolo is not going to sit there and just say, hey, well, we can't defend the run. There's nothing we can do. So it's just like, whatever. No, he's going to load that box and it's going to be up to the 49ers to continue to run through those boxes. They're going to be loaded. It makes sense. But you still have to have faith in what you're doing and what you are good at. And you still have to find a way to beat that. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, they loaded the box, so we had to stop running it. I didn't like the looks. Go, run. Even if it's 2 yards, run. Show the run. And then you hit them over the top. There's a little bit of pass opens up the run. And if they start to load it up, then you've got to start to make throws. Like, Brock Purdy. And I think he will. And I think there's a big distinct advantage with George Kittle against their linebackers. But you have to stick with the run, man. No matter what. They're going to sell out to stop the run. They are. Why wouldn't they? But this idea that, you're going away from it because of the look, it can't happen. Because it happened to the Ravens. And Lamar Jackson won MVP. I voted for him. But no quarterback should be dropping back 40 times. No. At all. Especially not Lamar. Right? It's just not conducive to success for him. No quarterback should be dropping back that many times. It's not going to get you done. But yeah, it just they looked at the looks that Spagnuolo was giving them and they were just like, well, we can't run it. I'm done running it. It boggles the mind because after the first the first touchdown from Kansas City, the Ravens defense locked up. The Ravens defense locked up, man. If I would have told you, as you know, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan or player, hey, you're gonna hold the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points.
Oh,
don't you feel like you should win that game?
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, just stick with the run. Stick with it. They're going to bait you into doing what Spagnuolo wants you to do, is get away from your game plan. You cannot allow that to happen.
Yeah, and like it's just so confusing too, because if you just look at the numbers, and I know there's a lot more to football than just numbers, but Kansas City's defense allowed the 4th fewest passing yards this season, but very middle of the road against the run. And it's just, why would Lamar? I think it was Lamar, and I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure Lamar threw more than 38 passes this season, like twice. And one of those games, yeah, let's see here. His most attempts in a game this season were 43 against the Rams in that overtime game, 38 against Pittsburgh, and then 37 against Kansas City. And it's like, why are you throwing the ball so much against this pretty good pass defense, but you're running the ball so little against the middle of the road? When you are like, it'd be one thing if Baltimore wasn't the best running team in the league. If they were middle of the road, I get it, but like, you are the best running team in football. And here's the number that I think is huge as to why the Niners need to run the ball and win the time of possession. Patrick Mahomes, this is his 6th season as a starter, right? He first year was in 17. We're going to throw that away because it's Alex Smith. These are the Chiefs' points per game in Patrick Mahomes' career. 2018, 35.3 points per game, which, by the way, I would love to have a football team average 35 points a game. 2019, 28.2. 2020, 29.6. 2021, 28.2. 2022, 29.2. Do you know what the Kansas City Chiefs are averaging per game this season? 21.8 points per game. That's a full touchdown lower than any season Patrick Mahomes has had. So now you're telling me that Patrick Mahomes' offense, and it's not Mahomes' fault. I'm not trying to say this is a Mahomes' fault thing. I 100% am convinced it's the targets around him, because things get a little different when it's Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill compared to, because like even last year, Juju Smith-Schuster gave them a little bit, not Juju. I always get that backwards. Is it Schuster Smith or Smith-Schuster?
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I get it backwards. I don't know why. And he wasn't great, but
be in the league. I'm just joking.
Well, he's a TikToker. But you look at the weapon, and Rashee Rice has been phenomenal in the second half of the season, but he had to get going. He had a very slow start. So a lot of this slowness in the Kansas City offense was trying to find a second weapon behind Travis Kelce. Kelce had 93 receptions this season for 984 yards. That's the first time under Patrick Mahomes the Chiefs have not had an 1,000-yard receiver, and it's the fewest receptions to lead a Patrick Mahomes team in a season. So, like, obviously there's not a lot of firepower around him. So that's like, I know we're talking about Christian McCaffrey, but that's how it affects the offense. This is a Kansas City offense that's not scoring as much as it used to. It's not throwing for as many yards. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had a career low in yards per game this season. The
1 year that I drafted him in fantasy.
I know, right? How'd that 2 tight end strategy go for me, Jason? I drafted Kelce first. How'd that work?
Yeah,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I won a championship last year.
Shut up. Okay. Hey, I picked up Sam Laporta in week 2. I did fine.
Great pickup. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a Kansas City offense that's struggling to score points. So if you take possessions away from them by running the ball, controlling the clock, controlling the time of possession, a team that's struggling to score is going to get fewer and fewer opportunities. And really, with how good the Niners defense is against the Kansas City offense, and how good the Kansas City defense is against the Niners offense, I wrote NinersNation.com. This could be a race to 21, Jason. And if that's the case, I'll take the Niners. Absolutely, because I trust the Niners offense figuring it out against this Chiefs defense more than I trust this Chiefs offense to figure it out against this 49ers defense.
You know, and the point that you made about the second option behind Kelce is really good, because there's so much attention paid to Kelce and, you know, the Travis routes, whatever they call it, because he just does whatever he wants. He doesn't run anything that's part of the route tree or anything like that. He just kind of just runs around. But the Rashee Rice breakout is part of, you know, the Travis Kelce effect, because, you know, Rashee Rice was really good at, you know, running underneath routes, overs, things like that. And when Kelsey is drawing attention from, your safety and your linebacker, it opens up these throwing lanes. And it's no coincidence that, eventually Rashee Rice got it together. But is it funny to me that it's funny to me that Patrick Mahomes is literally everything that they say Brock Purdy is? Yak merchant, dink and dunk. Like the throws, everything is there for like him to run, like, after the catch. And obviously as a quarterback, it's your job to put him in a spot where he can catch and run. He doesn't have to reach back and you can catch him in stride.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious to see people, yell at Purdy for whatever they think it is. And it's like, I feel like you haven't been watching. Like, I feel like you have not been watching like at all, because if you were, you would notice there's a guy going down the field. There's a guy taking more chances. There's a guy who's like hitting shots. And there's another guy who is literally doing the things that you think that other guy is doing, but because he's Patrick Mahomes, everybody just assumes, that it's just, I have a tough time talking with people about football because when you don't recognize something that's objective, it's not subjective like that Patrick Mahomes is a dink and dunk guy, which listen, I'm not trying to downplay Patrick Mahomes. Like, the reason that we're all nervous in this game is because it's Patrick Mahomes, because he's the best in the world. Like that, don't get it fucked up. Like, don't get it fucked up. Like, don't but it's just, for me, it's just like, damn, like all that shit that you say about Brock, that's literally what Mahomes was this entire year. And if you can't recognize that, then I don't know if you know what you're watching.
Yeah, if you put Patrick Mahomes' numbers on Josh Allen, Tua, and I'm just lumping a bunch of random quarterbacks not named. All these quarterbacks have something in common. They're not named Patrick Mahomes. But if you put Mahomes' number on Josh Allen and you say the Niners are playing the Bills on Super Bowl Sunday, I'm probably feeling a little more comfortable because, like, yeah, it's a down year. But, like, it's Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, it just – he's one of those players where it's like it doesn't matter how much of a struggle the regular season was for him. It doesn't matter how off he looked. It's just – who do you trust? And I think as Niner fans, Jason, we could both say, who do you trust? One game, laser beam pointed to the universe, whatever Max Kellerman said when he picked Iguodala. Who do you trust? I want Iguodala. But it's who do you trust in one game more, Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy? And I like to believe that every Niner fan would say Patrick Mahomes, right? Like you would rather have Mahomes. But it's more than that. It's who the Chiefs are having to play, the Niners defense, who the Niners have to play, the Chiefs defense. There's a lot to it. It's just the one overbearing thought is no matter how much better you think the Niners are, you could think the Niners are going to win this game by 30. But in the back of your mind, it's just like, yeah, but what if Patrick Mahomes goes off? It doesn't matter, right? And so that's the scary thought. That is the, dare I say, the boogeyman this week is Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know if you could tell that we're a little nervous about Patrick Mahomes because I don't even think we've really mentioned any other player on the Chiefs. It just kind of comes down to like, is Patrick Mahomes feeling like ruining my Sunday? And that's what it feels like it comes down to.
100%. And we're about 30 minutes in. We got 153 people in here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Andrew, we should probably plug our little event. Do you want to do it?
Yeah. So on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, Jason and I will be at Underdogs Cantina. Do you have the address in front of you? I actually don't have the address. It's the one next to Oracle Park. 128 King Street. We will be there doing a live stream. And actually, we got to see a little bit of a preview of what it looks like. They sent us a little trailer from what the Lions, which by the way, Bleacher. Yeah, I should say who's putting this on. Bleacher Report is putting this on. It's going to be on the BR app. Bleacher Report sent us a look of what the Lions one looked like from the NFC Championship game.
Boy, was that fun to watch.
Dare I say the first? Well, let's just say the vibes were immaculate in the first half.
For a little while,
let's say that
place turned down real quick.
Yes, it got real quiet about the 45-second spot on the video.
I wonder if Don Burr was there.
Don Burr might have been there, but we'll be Bleacher Report app live streaming our live reactions. We're going to be joined by two Kansas City content creators. I believe Haley Lewis and BJ Tesler got their names today, got that confirmed. We will be watching the game with them. We will be interacting with them. When the Niners have the ball, likely we will be the ones talking. When the Chiefs have the ball, they will be talking. Who knows? Maybe the streams line up perfectly and we'll be talking the whole time together. We'll see what happens. But Bleacher Report, the app, Jason Aponte will be streaming it if you guys want to watch us there. Or if you guys want to come out, Underdog Cantina next to Oracle Park, we will be there hanging out. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have fun. Yes, Rod, we are live on Super Bowl. We're going to start what? They said 3:20-ish before
3:20
kickoff.
for 3 hours. We're going to be there for the entire game, but it'll be through the Bleacher Report app. So make sure you follow Andrew Pasquini and Jason Aponte on the Bleacher Report app so you can see our reaction to the game as well. Shout out to Bleacher Report. We did a stream today on there, and shout out to them for making this happen, man. This is a big moment. So yeah, if you can't be on the Bleacher Report app, come on down to Underdog Cantina at 128 King Street, and yeah, let's celebrate, man. I think we're gonna have one of those moments, and I want to share with all you guys, man. So yeah, make sure you guys are out there for that. Our watch party is going up. Andrew, I want to talk about something that I think people know about, but I feel like it's like going by the wayside just a little bit.
Okay.
Joe Thuney's not playing in this game.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I know you're watching right now. I know you are. I want you to look in my eyes. Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, it's your time.
Nope.
It's your time. This defensive line, if I can get a little spicy, this defensive line, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, it is your fucking time.
Yep.
Make it happen. I don't want to hear about pressures. I don't want to hear about almost getting there. Finish and do what you are paid to do. I don't pocket watch, but any team that has Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa, Chase Young starting as their defensive line, you better fucking eat.
Yep.
I'm looking at all of you. Make your money. Make your money. No low effort plays. Finish the play. Get him down. Get him off the spot. Make him throw errant throws. Make him throw the ball away. Don't give me the PFF stats. I don't want to fucking hear it. Get it done, defensive line. If I can get a little spicy. All of you.
Yeah.
You made your money. All of you make $20-something million because you're very good at football. So fucking make your money on Sunday.
Yeah, and I know we usually talk about on this podcast, like, hey, pressures are good. And then we started talking middle of the season, hey, these pressures need to turn into sacks. They need to be sacks. There needs to be sacks on Sunday because pressures against Patrick Mahomes, that allows him to kind of move around. And when is Patrick Mahomes at his most unstoppable, Jason? When he can ad-lib a little bit, when he can move around, when he can shuffle the ball with his left hand and we pretend like he threw it with his left hand, like it's impressive, whatever it may be, these things that he can do while moving the pocket. Nick Bosa cannot have a 10-15 pressure game with no sacks. He's going to have to get to Mahomes once or twice. Thuney being out, Javon Hargrave in the middle, gonna need to play. Hey, this is his second year. This is an out here looking for revenge game for Javon Hargrave as well. He wasn't part of the 2020 team, but he was on that Eagles team that lost in the Super Bowl last year. Yes, absolutely. Hey, I mentioned that it was a career low in passing yards per game for Patrick Mahomes. You know what he had a career high in this year? Sack percentage. He had a career high 4.3 sack percentage. It's not extremely high. It's not like he's getting sacked all the time. It's actually tied for his highest. But if there's a year to get after him, guess what else he had a career high in? Interceptions. Guess what else he had a career high? Interception percentage. So I just said no pressures, more sacks, but if you can get a pressure and maybe force him to make a bad throw, there is no Tyreek Hill on a wasp route anymore, right? It's Kelsey, it's Rice, and then it's like, is Tony playing? Like, I don't think Tony's playing, right? Who's behind him? You cannot let Mahomes. Exactly. Mecole Hardman. Like there's a few guys we can name, but you can't let Mahomes take his time in the pocket, move around, and give these receivers 4 or 5 seconds to get open, because that's where, if you can create pressure, get to Mahomes 3 seconds, boom. receivers aren't going to win routes and that quickly. Maybe Kelsey gets one here and there, but it's just either get to him or he has to make a quick throw off time, or you get sacks. Like, it's just as simple as it is, Jason. Minimalize what Patrick Mahomes can do. Honestly, man, you want a game that we can go look at and say, hey, if there is a script to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, go back to Christmas. The Raiders beat them 20-14. How did the Raiders beat them? Well, the Raiders beat them with 62 passing yards, dude. The Raiders beat them with 62 passing yards. What did they do?
But they had 2 pick sixes.
They had 2 pick sixes, so make Mahomes make mistakes. They got after him. They also ran the ball 30 times for 157 yards. They ended up losing the time of possession battle too, but it's just this is as vulnerable as a Chiefs team as we have seen. Right?
Get them now before they fucking sign T. Higgins next year.
Exactly. Like this is it. This is the game that you need to, because I'm not trying to say that they're lucky to make the Super Bowl, because I don't think you can be lucky to make the Super Bowl. I think you got to have that talent. They're a very talented team, but if you compare this team to any of the previous Patrick Mahomes teams, this is the worst one. This is the team, and the defense. I'm talking offenses. Probably should have said offense, because that defense does scare me. But it still comes down to what Patrick Mahomes does, because there is a world where the Niners break this Chiefs defense and score 28, 35 points.
Yeah.
But if you don't stop Patrick Mahomes, no matter how much struggles he has, a 35-point lead or that 35 points isn't going to be that impressive, because the Chiefs will be up there as well. And so that's like, everything comes down, because if you stop Mahomes and the Chiefs defense stops the Niners, I still firmly believe that the Niners can outscore the Chiefs offense if that's the case. So literally, it just comes down to stopping Patrick Mahomes.
7 of his interceptions have been under pressure with someone in his face. But you know what's funny, Andrew? I don't know what it is, and this is what makes him so great. He doesn't take sacks and he doesn't throw interceptions in the playoffs. I don't understand. I don't like. All right, and obviously I'm not glazing, Mahomes. I think we all know he's the best, but this is what everyone's nervous about. When you have regular season games, sometimes, right? Jordan might have an off game. Curry might have an off game. LeBron might have an off game. But when your back's against the wall and they'll gotta have a moment, guys step up and they shine. And it's always him, man. Even in a game where, like, I watched that Ravens game, the Chiefs offense wasn't great. I mean, after they got off the scripted plays, it looked hard. Everything looked like conservative. But he doesn't make mistakes. It's just hard, man. It's something that, like, I can't put my finger on, because during the season he makes some of these throws and I'm just like, oh man, what happened to Patrick Mahomes? And then he gets in these moments and he doesn't make those throws and he doesn't make those mistakes. I think the last interception he threw in the postseason, cover your ears, 49ers fans, was against the 49ers.
Let me see. I'll look it up.
Yeah, you should look it up. But the one sack that he took in his last 10 playoff games was in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. He doesn't take sacks. He doesn't make bad plays. And as simple as Andrew's laying it out, like, force him to make this throw, force him to do this. Better defenses, listen, like, let's just keep it a buck. Better defenses have had a hard time even doing that, like, to him. So it's not as easy as all that. What do you got, Andrew?
Last time Mahomes threw a playoff interception, 2021 against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. He had 2, but more so to your point on sacks. In the regular season, Jason Aponte, Patrick Mahomes was sacked 0 times in a game, twice. Week 1 against Detroit, week 3 against Chicago. The other games, he was sacked at least once. twice in the playoffs this season. He's been sacked 0 times. He was sacked twice against Baltimore. In his last 2 playoff rounds, Jason, 3 games this year, 3 games last year, Mahomes had at least 1 sack in 2 games, sacked 0 times 4 games. So, like, yes, you're absolutely correct. It's postseason Mahomes. This is Jason's gonna get real jittery about this one, but it's like playoff Derek Jeter, right? It's yeah, man, he's an all-time great. But something about when those lights came on, he became Mr. October. And I know that's a Reggie Jackson nickname, but it also applies for Derek Jeter. It's one of those things, man. It's when the games matter, that's where Mahomes hurts you. And you've seen it a little bit. I mean, he hasn't thrown an interception. I got you, Jason Aponte. He hasn't thrown an interception in the playoffs yet this season. He hadn't thrown an interception in the playoffs last year. He tightens up, or I guess loosens up would be the better word. He loosens in the playoffs a little bit. SF Aponte unlocked. He is in San Francisco, but it's just I don't want to make it all about Mahomes, Jason, because there's other things the Niners are going to have to do, but it's just so much easier to beat the Chiefs if Patrick Mahomes doesn't beat you. And I know that's like a very dumb football guy thing to say. Like, it's easy to beat the Chiefs if Patrick Mahomes doesn't beat you, but that's what it is. If you cut the head off the snake, what's going to beat you, you know?
Right. Well, again, a little bit back to the point of like, this Kansas City offense looks a lot more similar to the 2019 San Francisco offense. And I think we'd be remiss in our duties if we didn't talk about Isaiah Pacheco. Ball control, running the football is now the name of the Kansas City offense. Dink and dunk, yards after the catch. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm telling you. And everything that they say that Brock Purdy is, listen to all of these things. Dink and dunk, yards after the catch, run the football, ball control, yak merchant. That's Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense. That's not the 49ers offense. Yeah. It's so crazy how everyone throws those things around for the 49ers. But I feel like if you're not watching, then you don't realize that this is what's happening. But you got to watch. Watch what is a wise man that you and I know once said. What's the phrase, Andrew? It's like on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
Brett once said, "Watch the tape." Yes, watch the film. Sorry, Brett said that. Not anybody else. Just Brett.
Not anybody else. Just Brett. Shout out to Brett Runback. I love him so much, man. Yes, absolutely. Watch the fucking tape, bozos.
Yes.
Yes, but Isaiah Pacheco, the problem is if you can't contain this running game, and you start to allow things like to happen, like with Aaron Jones and the way that the Lions were running it, this opens up everything for them. So, and again, look, Andrew and I aren't like giving you like big brain analysis right here. I feel like every single game you'll sit there and say, contain the run game, pressure the quarterback, play mistake free. But there's something about this team that if you don't contain that run, everything else becomes much more dangerous because they're very RPO based. Now they can hit you with the play actions, and then they can scheme. You know, look, Marcus Valdes-Scantling can't catch, but if he catches the one ball like that's 60 yards down the field and he's gone, that's a big play. That's explosive. Like, it's the running game. Everything starts with it and ends with it. You know, Isaiah Pacheco's a dog. Shout out to Rutgers jersey. But like, damn, man, like they've got to slow him down.
Yeah, no, and that's like I'm gonna be honest. I probably didn't respect Isaiah Pacheco as much as I should have going into this week. I also watched the tape on a flight, Jason, and then I watched the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe I watched the game against the Bills, and I watched the game against the Dolphins. And Isaiah Pacheco I was like, okay, let's see what Mahomes is cooking this year. And then I started watching, and this number 10 guy just kept kind of popping up. And now I have a legitimate fear of Isaiah Pacheco, and I was kind of hoping we could ignore him so I could forget that like I was afraid of him. But yeah, he adds a layer to the offense that I feel like they haven't had, because as good as their past games have been, they have struggled a little bit in the run. You remember Damian Williams back in 2019? He wasn't exactly he had a decent year, but he wasn't beat you down type running back. He wasn't a guy you would be like, hey, they got Patrick Mahomes, but you really got to watch out for this Damian Will. Like, it wasn't that. And I'm not saying Pacheco is like, better than Mahomes, or he should be more feared than Mahomes, but he's definitely he puts more fear in me than Damian Williams ever did. And now in combination with Mahomes, it's very. I was hoping you wouldn't mention it because I'm afraid of Isaiah Pacheco a little bit, and I don't like how they had a really fast guy wear number 10, and then they trade him away, and there's like, oh, we're just going to replace him with another really fast guy who wears number 10, who plays running back but also can play out of the backfield a little bit. So yeah, man, I'm a little afraid of Isaiah Pacheco.
Do you want me to lighten the mood?
Oh, lighten the mood.
Do you feel like we're robbed of the Jerick McKinnon revenge game? Because
he's questionable. He's questionable.
So he might play.
I saw he was questionable. I saw Thuney was ruled out. Let me make sure I read that tweet right, because I tend to misread words sometimes. Reading's not my strong suit.
Reading's hard.
That's why I'm a football guy. Per Ian Rappaport 3 hours ago, the Chiefs have officially ruled out All-Pro guard Joe Thuney, while Jerick McKinnon is questionable for the Super Bowl.
McKinnon.
And my guess is if you're questionable on the Friday before the Super Bowl,
you should be all right.
You're playing in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, Hoops Revenge game, Jerick McKinnon, another one. And I feel like not a lot of people have been talking about this storyline. Charvarius Ward.
Mooney.
Game. And that's where my hot take is. Mooney makes a play. Mooney makes not just a play, but a play, Jason, that in 10 years when we're still doing the Sprint Right Option podcast on whatever huge platform we'll be on.
Oh, wow.
We'll still 10 years from now. Remember that one time Charvarius Ward had that pick 6 to seal the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes? Like, you remember how sick that was? It's going to be one of those type plays because
and
I just
talk like that. I'm wearing sweatpants.
Oof. Hey, man. Oh, hey, where those when we're hanging out Sunday night after the show, obviously after the show, Jason. But I just Charvarius Ward feels like he's going to make a play, and I man. The Niners are playing the Super Bowl Sunday. Slowly hitting me.
Axel's just here, like racking up moments. Yeah. Like he's just racking up moments.
Yes.
Hey, and big city, man, Navarro Bowman, new linebacker coach for the Chargers. Hell yeah.
So are the Chargers are the Chargers our second favorite team now?
Hold on. We still got a lot more to talk about this game, but
yes,
you know that they say like things like come in threes, right? Like bad things. All right, but Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year, Patrick Willis, Hall of fucking Famer. It's about time. Your Hall of Fame is nothing without Patrick Willis not in it. One more. What's the last thing? Raise that Lombardi, man. I was so happy yesterday when I saw Patrick Willis get raised up from there. I want to make sure that we talk about that. We got time, man. We got time because we have a lot to talk about in this game. But I want to talk about how happy I was with Patrick Willis. And D'Amico, I voted for D'Amico as Coach of the Year. Absolutely, he should have won. Who won?
Stefanski.
Christ, man, for what?
I mean, he did have the comeback player of the year.
Kyle Shanahan accomplished that feat no more than a year ago. But, the NFL honors, they bring out Patrick Willis. You're excited. And then, I don't want to get emotional, man, but D'Amico, they asked him about the Super Bowl. And he said, it's their time. D'Amico, it should be you, buddy.
Forever 49.
It should be you, man. It should be you. There's something. The reason that I'm picking the 49ers to win this, and obviously matchups and I think, obviously, we picked them in every other game. There is something to the idea of it just being your year. Like it's your year. And you know what? There's been many instances of it being your year and you didn't finish. Ask the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, let's keep the good vibes rolling.
Yes.
Lane Johnson saying that the 49ers absolutely broke their season was like literally like chicken soup for my soul.
I still can't believe the Eagles kept Sirianni with how quickly that that fell apart and just kind of how it fell apart.
Yeah. And just it's you know what? All right. As fans, we can surmise and say, hey, they were never the same after the 49ers game. And Eagles fans can sit there and say, well, it wasn't that, it was this and that. To hear an Eagles player, and not just an Eagles player, a very good Eagles player, say it all came apart after the 49ers beat us. This has been a very good weekend. And you know how you top off a very good weekend? You make it a great weekend. The
Yes,
49ers have
absolutely.
one more thing they can do to do the funniest thing in the world. Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year. Patrick Willis, Hall of Famer. Lane Johnson saying the 49ers broke them. Yeah, one more thing. One more thing. Just one more thing. One more thing.
The last thing I had really, Jason, I'm sure you got a few other things. Just more about the Kansas City defense. We've kind of touched on it. The Chiefs defense allowed a score on 28.5% of drives this season. That was the second best percentage. I believe the only team that had a higher percentage was the Browns. I want to say that's who it was. Kind of like the scoring thing. This was the best of the Mahomes era. Mahomes has never had a defense like this. But is it at all a concern to you that the three teams the Kansas City Chiefs have played in the playoffs were the second-ranked scoring offense, Miami Dolphins? They scored 7 points in negative 40-degree weather. The sixth-ranked Buffalo Bills, 24 points. And the fourth-ranked Baltimore Ravens, who only scored 10 points. So you're talking 3 top 6 scoring offenses against one of the better defenses in the league for a combined 41 points. What is that? That's like 13 points per game. The 49ers, third best scoring offense in the league. Does that make you a little nervous? Their postseason success?
No.
Okay.
And in fact, Andrew Pasquini, anybody who thinks that the 49ers are lucky to be in this position, allow me to regale you with the tale of the Kansas City Chiefs run to the Super Bowl. Okay. So for the first time, you didn't have the number 1 seed. You run into a Miami Dolphins team that can't play in the cold. We get that. We know that. Cool. Yeah, and you beat them. The Bills were running the football all over you, and even still, when they abandoned it and went away from it, their kicker missed a kick, and you know what? You got lucky and you moved on. Right?
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens, at that time, the best team in football, stopped running the football.
Yep.
And just completely abandon their game plan. One would say, Andrew Pasquini, that the Kansas City Chiefs are very lucky to be in this game.
Yeah.
Very lucky. Because for everyone that looks at the 49ers and say, oh, you got lucky, Green Bay. Oh, you got lucky with Detroit. I would say those are harder fought victories than the games that they went into. But why is nobody talking about the fact that the Chiefs have had these circumstances happen for them and they took advantage, and that's what good teams do. You can't leave the door open. But why is it the 49ers are lucky, and why isn't it that the Chiefs are just good? I don't get that part. I need someone smarter than me should explain this one to me.
I think it's so much easier to say, oh, well, the reason the Chiefs won those games is they have Patrick Mahomes, where with Purdy, you've been talking about it, Jason, it's the dink and dunk, it's the yak merchant, it's all this stuff. So like it's so much easier for Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, where it's like, oh, Purdy's not that guy. So obviously the Niners got a little lucky, but like that's just not the case, because like there is no luck in coming back from 17 points. Like that's not a lucky thing. And you could say, oh, well, they got lucky that Dan Campbell went. No, the Niners didn't get lucky. Dan Campbell went for it on 4th and 3 multiple times, because that's what the Lions did. George Kittle said it on Pardon My Take. That he was on Pardon My Take this morning. They were asked like, hey, when did you know that the Lions game you were going to win? It's like, oh, well, when they didn't get that 1 4th down, we went down and scored, and then they fumbled, and that was it. And Kittle was like, but I don't think them going for 4th down was a bad idea, because that's who they are. And so like there's no luck involved there. The Niners fell behind because the Lions came out hot and the Niners didn't come out as hot. They came back and won. I think teams do need a little bit of luck to get to this point. I mean, if you want to look at a little bit of luck, look no further than the Brandon Ayuk catch against the Lions. There's a little bit of luck for you. It's just, I think that's what it comes down to. Is it's much easier to ignore the luck in the breaks when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, but you almost say the Niners leaned on luck, like they weren't the best team in the NFL for 90% of this season. And really that the 10% they weren't was the month where the Ravens beat them and then got eliminated in the playoffs. So it's just, I think that's where it comes from. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the way this kind of lined up, because they should have lost to Buffalo. They probably should have lost to Baltimore.
Well,
if Baltimore runs the game.
But Andrew, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. He made Zay Flowers fumble at the goal line. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. He made Lamar Jackson throw into triple coverage when they could have took a field goal right there. I'm not saying this to discredit Patrick Mahomes. I think we've given him his credit. But I'm tired of everybody saying whatever they're saying about the 49ers and how they made it when there are the same sort of circumstances around the Kansas. It's again, Purdy's a dink and dunk merchant, yak merchant, carry. Say that about Patrick Mahomes. Say that about him this season. Say that about him. And, the Niners are lucky to be here. Say that about the Chiefs. Say that about the Chiefs. Like, it's literally right now, like, your set of circumstances. Miami cannot play football in cold weather. We know that. Okay, cool. Nobody expected them to lose that game. Fine. The Bills abandoned the run, and they had a missed kick, and now you're in the game, right? And then the Baltimore Ravens forgot what got them to the damn AFC Championship game, and you're in it. I don't understand how it is that the 49ers are lucky, but you can't say that the Kansas City Chiefs aren't lucky. Their circumstances feel way more lucky when you look at how it happened as opposed to how it happened for the Niners.
Yeah. And just as I said, I think that's just what it comes down to when you have a guy that was established as the greatest quarterback of all time in the second season of his career, is those breaks tend to be looked away as like, oh no. Buffalo didn't beat themselves. It's because Mahomes is so good. And no. Baltimore didn't lose because they ran the ball 16 times. It's because Patrick Mahomes. You see how much easier it is that is to explain away than it is. No, the Packers didn't blow that lead. Brock Purdy beat them. Like, nobody's saying that because that's not what people want you to think about Brock Purdy for which reason. And that's just what it comes down to, man. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs because of who they are, because of history, because of what the past is. And the way I've really deemed this game is this is the best team in the NFL this year versus the best team of the NFL for the past 6 years. That's just what this game is. The Niners have a chance to do something that only Tom Brady has done, and that's beat Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl. And I don't think it's coincidence. I don't think like that. That's what I want. That's what I don't want Niner fans to get mixed up with, because I can see the future. And if this game doesn't go the way Niner fans want it to go, it's going to be excuses. It's going to be because, Shanahan didn't call that play right in the third quarter, or, Purdy showed he wasn't ready for the bright. No, I don't want to hear any of that. Listen, unless it's something super, super specific, the reason the 49ers don't win this game, if it happens, it's because they're the Kansas City fucking Chiefs. They've been here, Jason. They know what this is like. This is another week to them. This media week is just another week to them. They've been to so many of these at this point. Like, Niner fans need to understand that if the Niners do not come out on top of this game, it's because they are the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the boogeyman of the NFL. This is not the Niners. There's a world where the 49ers go in and play a perfect game on Sunday, and it doesn't matter because they're the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what they make a living out of. So, yes, a lot of what the perception is with these two teams this season, fair or not, is because of the past, where realistically we need to look at the 2023 Chiefs versus the 2023 49ers. What happened last year, the year before, does not matter. It just comes down to what these two teams look like on Sunday. But a lot of what we try to do is we try to say, hey, let's see how the past dictates this game. And that's where you get a lot of this. Well, Mahomes is this and Purdy is that, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and I think that makes for great conversation. I think the 49ers quarterback situation has been, making money for a lot of people for a
Yes.
long time. I think that makes for great conversation, but as long as you keep it fair
Mm-hmm.
and like, look, Patrick Mahomes is the best in the game. I don't think anybody is going to dispute that.
No.
Like, we have to keep it a buck. Look, let's keep it a buck. The Niners are the better team. The Chiefs have the better quarterback. You know how I know they have the better quarterback? Because he's better than everybody else. But if you're not like looking at his season and being objective with what you've seen, then I don't know what to tell you. There's two ways to do this. There's two ways to do it. Patrick Mahomes is still the best.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes is kind of transformed into what everybody thinks that Brock Purdy was this season.
Mm-hmm.
This season.
Mhm.
Um, I don't feel that that's a crazy statement.
No.
I don't feel that that's something that should be disputed. There's at times when you evaluate players and you evaluate situations, that's subjective. I feel like everything that I'm just saying right now is objective. Like,
Yeah.
it's completely objective. Like, there is nothing that you can say to refute this thought. Look at the yards per attempt. Look at the way the offense moves. Look at how they are, right? But it doesn't diminish that he's the best.
Yeah.
And the reason that we're nervous about this game is because he's the best.
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter what you think, no matter what matchups, no matter what you've got, it's still 15. It's still 15. And it's
Mhm.
always going to be 15. And
Mhm.
that's what's got so many people in a headlock right now and putting money on the Chiefs because it's 15.
Yep.
So that's the hard part, right? Is looking around, looking at matchups, looking at strengths, looking at weaknesses, and saying, well, here's where they can take advantage. But then you've got the ultimate game changer. You got the guy who can like
Yep.
turn it on at any moment, and he's done it on the biggest stages. It's tough, but it's not my fandom talking. I am talking about like straight up X's and O's, what I think will happen. I've gone through all the scenarios. Sure, there's a scenario where Patrick Mahomes goes nuclear and he
Mm-hmm.
throws for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and wins another Super Bowl MVP, and
Yada
Taylor
yada
Swift
yada.
gets proposed to on the stage, and all those things, right? Like there's a scenario like that. Is it
No,
likely?
no. I don't. I was hoping. I was hoping you wouldn't mention that scenario on the
Why
podcast
not? We
because
vibing.
that's my worst nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Is
Oh yeah.
is not
Oh yeah.
not just the Chiefs, like obviously the
Oh
Chiefs
yeah.
winning in itself, like
Oh yeah.
that's real bad.
Oh yeah.
But the on top of it, the Chiefs winning and Travis Kelce proposing on field to
Oh yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Oh look. All right, Andrew.
Me knowing that it happened in a game the Niners lost, like
Yeah.
remember how I said earlier that I would never watch football again if Joe Flacco beat the Niners in the
Right.
Super Bowl this year? I would be in that territory if the Chiefs win and Travis Kelce proposes.
Andrew, when I found out that Avery's mom was pregnant and I found out it was a girl, I was like, oh, that's karma. I was like, that's straight up karma. I was like, that's what do they say? When you're someone who deserves karma, God gives you a daughter,
Yeah.
right? If that
I
happens, then
yeah.
if that happens, then then my karma's not over. God
Yeah.
hates me. Like literally, like God, like it's at the point where it's just like, okay, what have I done in my life to deserve this?
Yeah.
Have I done something so bad?
Yeah.
Have I done something so bad that I deserve this? But what the point I was trying to make was, when you look at the outcomes and the scenarios in this game, sure, Mahomes going crazy in this game and winning it is one of them, but it's not likely. The range of
Yeah.
outcomes are a lot of them. What's the more likely outcome? The team that has the better strengths, the better team, the better roster,
Mhm.
actually executes. Like, and
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of where I am. Like, everything
Yeah.
about this game could sit there. You could sit there and say, well, he's Superman and this and that. Okay, fine. Like, that's on the table,
Yeah.
but your football mind and your heart still has to be on matchups. How does this happen? What's going to happen? Can you stop them? Like, doesn't matter who's the coach. If you don't got the dogs to do it, and you want to try to stop the run, Steve Spagnuolo, good. Like, try. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. But the 49ers got to stay consistent, play mistake-free. You can't leave the door open at any moment. You have to slam it shut. And I would like to see Kyle Shanahan slam the door shut. Instead of taking 3, slam it shut with a 4th down. Because if your offense is going, and I think a lot of the 4th down, decisions have to go with how your offense is rolling, right?
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be like we're going for it every 4th down, because that's what gets you Dan Campbell in trouble, right? Like, because if that's the case, your offense is rolling before the half. Punch that shit in, like, at the half, like, and then take your 3 on the other side when your offense isn't rolling, right?
Yeah.
But if your offense is rolling and it's 4th down and you have a chance to finish it, and you have a chance to really step on the neck, do it. Do it, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said you know what they say about karma. I instantly went to, because karma is my boyfriend, karma is a god, karma is the breeze in my hair. It's a Taylor Swift song. I thought you were setting up a Taylor Swift song, and I was very confused there. But no, you mentioned the simulations, and yeah, I'm at that point of, like, in my head, 65% of the time the Niners win the simulation, 35% of the time the Chiefs win it, and about 20 of the 35% of those simulations is because Mahomes goes off. Like, I think if both teams play their best game on Sunday, the 49ers win. The 49ers win, and that's just what it is. So it's that's where I'm at, Jason, and I think that's a perfect segue. We're at an hour 6. The people are tired about Taylor Swift talk already. We mentioned her name 3 times, but I think it's time, Jason. Final predictions of the season. Final prediction of the season. We ready? It shouldn't come as a surprise that I am going to pick the San Francisco 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I said earlier it's going to be a race to 21. I'm going to stick with it. 27-17. 49ers win the 6th Lombardi. Jason and I were going to be on the Bleacher Report app, screaming our heads off. We'll be live post game. Honestly, if here's the deal, guys. They told us post game is 20 minutes at minimum. So if the Niners lose, post game is 20 minutes. It'll be nice and clean. We'll get up out of there. But if the Niners win on Sunday, as we're predicting, they're going to have to kick us off Bleacher Report, because we're just going to be talking.
Oh no, hold up. Not only are they going to have to kick us off Bleacher Report, but the YouTube instant reaction, Jason Aponte and Andrew Pasquini running the streets in San Francisco, is going to be one for the books. They are going to ban my account. The amount of F-bombs that will be dropped. I am not sleeping. And you know what? I might not even make my flight, because I want to stay for the parade. That type.
That's fair. Yeah.
But,
I like that idea. I like that.
San Francisco 49ers 28, Kansas City Chiefs 24. This is going to come down to 2 things. 1, being able to run the ball, controlling the clock, and finishing it. And honestly, I do think this team understands what's in front of them. Kyle Shanahan knows what's in front of him. That's why he's sipping a little sun on Monday. Everything. And Ariel, get your ass down here. Let's go, my boy. Ariel, the Mod Squad is about to be in the building on Sunday for the watch party, man. Let's get it. Yeah,
I'm excited.
We out here vibing. But everything that is in front of them, sometimes you can look at a team and you can see that it's their year. Wow. It's our year. It's our time. Look at me, dead in my eyes. It's our time, finally. It is our time. And we are going to save America. We're saving America. Like, this is not like that. I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to put more pressure.
No pressure.
We're saving America.
Saving America. Saving the world. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Wasn't that a TV show?
We're going to save America from the glazing, from the insane, talk about, like, proposals and all that. Kyle Shanahan proposed to the Lombardi. And please, This is the best part. Please, I cannot wait for Kyle Shanahan to get his ring. You know
Oh,
why? If you thought he was condescending before, if you thought he was a dick before, I need all of that. I need all of that energy because he's talking crazy like he got a ring. Don't let him get the ring. Don't let him get the ring.
no, don't let him do it.
49ers win 28-24 and save America. It's on your back. My mental health is in your hands, San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
I'm out the way. This is the last show that I am doing. This is the last show that I am doing before we lock in for the Super Bowl. Tomorrow, I am taking the entire day off tomorrow, and I'm going to run the
Yep.
streets of San Francisco tomorrow. But
Yep.
this is it. This is it. This is what. Say what you were telling me, Andrew, earlier. Tell me what you were telling me before we started the show about this season and about everything that's happened this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, listen. Because I wanted to make sure to say this because this is potentially because as we said, we just both picked the 49ers to win the Super Bowl, so our hopes are very high. But there is a potential that this is the last time we are hanging out this season in such cheerful places, right? Like everybody vibes are pretty high. The Niners in the Super Bowl, so I wanted to take this second. This season's been the most fun I've ever had watching the 49ers. And it's not just because of the product on the field. Like, obviously, the product is very fun. This podcast has taken us places that I never thought it would take us. I'm still kind of pinching myself, Jason, that on Sunday we are going to be live on the Bleacher Report app watching the not
Where
just
at?
like
Where
not
at?
just at Underdogs Cantina, 126 King Street. Jason, is that right? 126. I want to get that right.
128 King Street.
128.
Right across the street from Oracle Park.
128 King Street. So I just really want to take this second while everybody's feeling good. Like, thank you for this season, everybody. Regardless of what happens, I want to make sure I say it because as I said, Jason, we're going to be very if this game doesn't go well, we're going to be very clean and in and out on Monday because we don't really want to talk about it, right? But thank you for this season. Not just to Jason Aponte, my beautiful, beautiful, amazing co-host, but everybody here, everybody that's tuned into even 1 second of the Sprint Right Option podcast this season. I always thought growing up it was very corny when like TV shows would be like, oh, none of this is possible without you, the fans. And but in this show, I've learned how important you, the fans, are, because if it wasn't for you guys watching us every Monday and Wednesday every week for 20 weeks in a football season, we wouldn't be on Bleacher Report on Sunday. We wouldn't be in the spot. Jason would be in his place in New Jersey right now, right? He wouldn't be in San Francisco for this game. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I, before everything happens on Sunday, good or bad, that I said thank you to not just Jason Aponte, but each and every one of the Sroppy Toppies. I don't know what our fan base is called, but I'm just going with that. I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you because you guys, on top of how good the 49ers have been, have made this season just that much more fun. And I am going to love and cherish the 2023-24 San Francisco 49ers for the rest of my life, regardless of how Sunday goes. It might be a little more to cherish on Sunday. There might be a little less to cherish on Sunday. We'll see. But thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you, because none of this is possible without you guys.
Yeah, man. I don't want to undersell it either, man. When I started doing content, when I started, making my YouTube channel, Andrew and I's first episode, I think still is sitting at like a whopping like 100 views. Like, and I'm gonna let him look it up. Right now, we're sitting here and we've almost had 200 people in here. We average about 2,000 views per episode, especially as the season ramped up. It's hard to put into words what it means for people to connect with your content, because there's a lot of people that do content, and unfortunately they don't see the results right away and they give up. And it's just like, I get it, because I've done it. Andrew and I have done it, where we've sat there and we've done episodes and no one's listened. And to have this community built in this way, to have this season happen this way, it's it's humbling, man. It really is, man. And I love everybody that we see in here all the time, like Tyler, Jake, Sean, Axel, Wes. I like the same names that we see all the time. Our Mod Squad, Ariel, Gammon. I know I'm missing names. Cynthia, like Lil Heater. Like I can't go through all the names, but it's humbling to understand that you're trying to create something. You're kind of putting yourself out there, and good or bad, people are not gonna like you, and there's gonna be people that do like you. It's a hard leap for many people. But you want me to get this out the way?
Yeah, well, I didn't think it would just
Yeah, I'm gonna
pop
get
up
this out the way real
instantly.
quick. I'm sorry.
This might
But,
not be the first step. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
but like good or bad, you know, um, it's hard to do content, and I commend anyone who tries to put themselves out there because it's hard. But to see what we've built because of you guys, to see the support that we've gotten, it's just it's humbling, man. And I don't want to get all mushy gushy, but it's just like, look, this is our last show. This is our last preview of the season. Hopefully we're back on here Tuesday. If I'm even alive, I don't even know if we're gonna be alive,
Yeah, we don't
man.
even know if
On
we're going to be
Tuesday, yeah,
alive on
I don't
Sunday.
know alive. Uh, but hopefully we're here celebrating another Super Bowl with you guys, man. And it's been absolutely humbling to see what we built, man. And it's all because of you guys, man. I everybody wants the success, but they don't want the journey.
Yeah.
I think what makes the success sweeter is the journey.
Yeah.
Is how hard it is. Like at times when you're sitting there and you just feel like no one's listening, no one cares, and it's just like eventually you get to a place where people care, man, and it's all because of you
Man.
guys. And it's hard to put out content and have it connect with people, man. And
Mhm.
you guys do love what we do, and we love you for that, man. It's not possible without any of you guys, man. I love it so much. Thank you guys so much, man.
I don't know if this is episode 1, but this is actually a really funny one to look at because this is the Eagles. You remember the Sunday night loss against the Eagles? This is
Yep.
October 7th, 2020,
2020.
where we talked about the Sunday night loss to the Eagles and then previewed what would become known as the Brian Allen game. But this is October 7th, 2020. There is 85 total views on this video.
85.
Zero comments. We currently have
85.
double the
Yes.
amount of people in this stream
Yeah.
right now than the amount of people who watched what I believe is our first video together, or one of the first, if not the first. So like, it's been a
Hell yeah.
it's been a ride, man. And let's end it with the ring.
Read this one, Jason and Andrew. If you like, follow me, Powerhouse Scouting on IG. Draft season work with 49ers edit. Shout out to Jake, man. Jake knows what the fuck he's talking about, man. He knows ball. Absolutely, man. Make sure you guys follow him, man. If I'm co-signing, you know that I really mean that shit. So yeah, man. Shout out to Jake, man, as well too. Make sure you guys follow him. We're not ready for draft season though, just yet, Jake.
Just yet.
Marcus Peters is a prophet. Sometimes he has some things that he says that are weird. But my favorite saying is this: I think we ain't done yet.
I don't think we're done yet. But if you want to talk draft, Johnny Wilson, tight end, 49ers. He's a Florida State receiver. No, not yet. Okay. We'll save draft talk for later.
Well, Andrew, if we're talking draft, I really
What's your mock?
Have character issues with Keon Coleman, and I think that he should like really fall far
fall
in the
to
draft,
the Niners.
like
Yeah.
Well, all right, Andrew. Look, all right, Andrew. Let's keep it. Real quick before we go. Real quick.
Yes.
Roman and Cody.
We've kind of
imagine getting bullied into going back to the storyline you just tried to abandon.
Well, so now the fun thing is the rumor, and I think we're going to get this confirmed next week, is night 1 of WrestleMania. The main event is going to be Seth and Cody versus Rock and Roman. That's how Roman gets his match, or Rock gets his match, and then the main event night 2. But yes, Cody's finishing this. We acknowledge our tribal chief on this podcast, but we're also very pro Cody finishing his story. Cody's got a story to finish. Me.
You.
But I'm sorry.
Our tribal chief is a San Francisco 49ers fan.
KP went to the Niners presser yesterday instead of the WrestleMania press conference. How sick it is.
Why would you do that?
How dare that man do his job? covering the 49ers and not go to the wrestling thing. How dare KP?
Hey, we acknowledge our tribal chief.
We acknowledge our tribal chief.
But we the ones. The San Francisco 49ers are the ones. We the ones.
San Francisco 49ers are, for the final time for the 2023-2024 NFL season. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. See you on the other side. I love you all. Let's fucking get it done.
This is the last Friday the Niners aren't Super Bowl champions. How crazy is that?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.